Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. My name is Charlotte. I'm a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures, and very often they are celebrities, like singers or artists or actors. But today I will be looking at some more members, the most senior members of the British royal family, and they are King Charles III and his wife, Queen Camilla. So, I know this is going to be controversial, because we all love Diana. We all love Diana. Go check out my reading for Diana if you like. It's in the Royals playlist. But, I mean, this truly is like the love story of a century. It wasn't Charles and Diana. It's Charles and Camilla. Camilla's the chosen one. And I know that some of you guys have your feelings about her, but she's the love of his life. She is his soulmate. That's why they're together. So what we're going to do is analyze their Synastry chart, try to figure out, what's their dynamic like? Like, why Camilla? Why Charles as well? Like, why are they so attracted to each other? And then how are they able to cover this up for so long? I mean, Diana knew for all the years that she was married to Charles until the day of the divorce. Like, she knew. They were having like a very it was an open secret amongst the aristocrats, but obviously, like, media gets paid off by aristocrats, the royals. Like, it's very obvious that they have like a symbiotic relationship. But yeah, their love story pre-existed the meeting of Charles and Diana. So it's all quite interesting. There's a lot to get into. Before I do, I want you guys to know I do 15-minute full chart readings, MP3s. I do 5-minute focused readings, also MP3s, and also 5-minute astrocartography readings, MP3s, all linked below. It's a great way to support me if you want to if you want to support my work. That's the best way to do it. I also have a members. I'm going to Tokyo. I'm going to be traveling Tokyo as you're getting this video, so you can follow me in my adventures on there. I'm going to put them on the members, and we're also going to do like answering questions, and I'll be putting out educational content about astrology and teaching you guys how to read charts, because I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not one of these astrologers that's like, bling, I know all the answers. I don't do that. I'm just like, here's the math. Here's the formula. Go learn it for yourselves. Let's go. Let's talk about it. It's like nothing secret with me. So I just want to be able to share this knowledge with you guys because it's empowering. And we have, guys, I'm getting a lot of messages from people. It's Mercury retrograde. Stop trying to like convince people that astrology is real, because last time the whole world believed it was real, like women getting their heads cut off and burned at the stake and shit. We just don't need that, okay? Let the plebs believe what they want to believe, okay? Especially during a Mercury retrograde. Don't argue with people. I'm getting so many messages right now. Charlotte, no one believes in astrology. And I'm like, that's a good thing, okay? You want your head cut off? So we can talk about it on members. Anyway, let's dive in and have a look at the Synastry chart of King Charles and Queen Camilla. So as you can see, they're twins. They both have an ascendant in Leo, and Pluto is in their first house. And they do have a midheaven in Aries. They are like mirrors of each other. They're alike in a lot of ways. And you can see that he is a Scorpio sun with a Taurus moon. And he also has a Venus in a conjunction with Neptune in Libra, and he has a Mercury in Scorpio as well, and he has a Mars in Sagittarius, just like his son. Did you notice that Charles has a lot of Prince Harry's placements, right? Taurus moon, Mars and Sag. Anyway. And Camilla, she has her sun and moon and Mercury and Venus, all in Gemini, in the 12th house of secrets, lies, fantasies, and delusions, and eternal love, and God, and all sorts of stuff. The woman is interesting, I'll tell you. And she has a Mars in Gemini. She's so experimental in bed. Like, she seems like she knows what she's doing. Let's just say that, darling. All right, let's move down and just take apart the chart, okay? Slide number 1, dirty little secrets. Camilla's 12th house, Cancer stellium in Charles's 12th house. So they both have a Cancer 12th house because, as I said, they're twins, so their houses really match up quite well. Now, here's the warning. you got to be careful of falling in love with people or being intimate with people that have personal planets in your 12th house. You will become haunted by them, obsessed with them. You have to be careful. A moon, a Venus, a sun, whatever. If they touch you, it's like kryptonite. So, speaking from experience, he could never get rid of her. He could never get rid of her. I think from the first moment that they met, he knew that he could never have her, and that's probably the reason why he wanted her. The 12th house is like forbidden stuff. Like it's deeply spiritual. I think having this Cancer stellium, it's a beautiful stellium as well. You know, Cancer's very loving and it's very warm and it's very maternal, and he had it in a house of like forbidden things, you know, so their relationship was forbidden, and that's like the appeal. That's probably what made it kind of stable, actually. I think like maybe 12th house synastry as a royal really works. You know, the thing with royal families is that you marry your wife, you marry your queen, your princess. That's the business deal. That's to keep the family going. That's for the status quo. That's to please the people, right? Your wife is a business partner, is a colleague, but your mistress, that's your true love. That's how it goes normally. I know there's exceptions, right? Queen Victoria and her husband, very much in love. He didn't have any side chicks, but most of these kings do. And Camilla is the perfect side chick because she's not going to speak. You know, she liked being the side chick. Weirdly enough, the side chick in royal, like in royal circles, like being the side chick means that you are actually spiritually the wife, which is wild. They're not like regular people, I tell you. A Venus in Cancer, I mean, maybe that's the reason why I think it was Charles that really tried, based on the documentaries I've watched, from what I know, Charles really tried to be with her, like, we can work this out, let's be together, and she was like, no. I'm too low on the food chain. I'm too low on the food chain. I need to marry someone who's more appropriate. I think for many, many years, Camilla was also like openly chasing Andrew Parker Bowles. Like she knew, like, I can't get with the king. Like, she wasn't a virgin. She wasn't high enough on the social ladder to or had good breeding, not enough good breeding to get with Charles, obviously. So just remaining a mistress for a very long time was a more convenient option. Was probably a more stable option. And then she could be married to Andrew Parker Bowles, which she did, and she had children with him. So yeah, she's, as a, this Cancer stellium, she wants stability, but she's also someone who's going to live a double life, which works. Like, if she was a regular schmegular person, it wouldn't work, but she was an aristocrat. A low-born aristocrat, but an aristocrat nonetheless. She was still in those circles. And she did very, very well. She's quite popular. She's a really good party girl, and she's very likable. From what I understand, she was just even if she was low born, she was just someone that knew how to charm. She's a very charming person. She got ripped on, though, being a 12th houser. Like, she really got ripped on. It's horrific. I think despite everything, she really kept her chin high up. She kept her chin up. Leo risings, I mean, I love a Leo rising. I think they're gorgeous. I think out of all the rising signs, they're my favorite. It's either people tend to love Scorpio, they tend to love Leo as the most, like, they're like the strongest rising signs. As a Scorpio rising myself, I think a Leo rising is super charismatic. It is pure sunshine in the room. Everyone else turns into a little asteroid that orbits around you. Like, it's very charismatic, and I think they both mirror together. They're very strong together as a couple. They complement each other very well. They have the same outlook on life. I was talking to another astrologer about it years ago, and she said there's something about Leo placements. They're so attracted to each other, and like, yeah, it's like, it's their inherent narcissism. That's why they're in love with other Leo placements. I'm like, oh my God. Don't get upset. Don't get upset. I used the word narcissism in a previous video, and so many people were so upset with me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing anything here. But these two, when they look at each other, they see themselves. That's part of the reason why they love each other. There's an understanding for sure. And the Pluto on the ascendant, anybody that has Pluto on the ascendant, it's kind of like having a Scorpio rising anyway, but they're going to be projecting the deepest fears and desires of whoever look upon us, whoever look upon them. Certainly Saturn in the first house is really difficult. Camilla had to grow up really quickly. She had to mature very quickly. I don't know exactly why, but I'm wondering if she had to deal with she was like a bit of a parentified child, I'm wondering, just because that Saturn's in the first house. And that's why she is, even though she's a couple of years older than Charles, but she seems like almost like a parent to him, right? And that's probably because she was a parentified child, and he's a king. He's kind of infantilized, so that dynamic works actually. Charles, the husband, Camilla's Scorpio Jupiter conjunct Charles's sun. So, guys, it doesn't always have to be this way. But Jupiter is the husband in your chart. So if you've got a decent Jupiter, it's not retrograde. It's like for her, it's in an intimate house. It plays out in a fun house. It's cute. They have this like really nice Jupiter Sun conjunction. If someone has a planet, like a personal planet, like a sun, a moon, a Venus, even a Mercury, like on your Jupiter, they're going to give you that husband kind of energy. And that's what Charles is and always was, a very wounded man. He's got Chiron with his sun, so he's got a lot of self-esteem issues. He got bullied a lot when he was young, and he lacked confidence. And if you think of Jupiter as this like expansive, lucky planet, when he was with her, she didn't really have to try. It was just in her presence, because Jupiter's not a personal planet. In her presence, he felt like a king. He felt important. He felt like somebody, you know. I think he does suffer from imposter syndrome. I mean, a lot of his placements they're not complementary to his midheaven. So, you know, being in the presence of Camilla, like, she had this ability to make him feel worthy and glow, you know. Like, if someone's got a placement, especially a happy, like a benefic like Jupiter on your sun, for whatever reason, you feel like when you're with them that you not only exist, but you're special. He felt special with her. Yeah, she also has Chiron in this. They're not in a conjunction, but Chiron is also here. He also has Chiron because they're born within the same period, like within 2 years of each other. So Chiron's like it's a generational asteroid. So, this wound of marriage, there's sexual wounds, there's money wounds, there's lots of things happening here. How I interpret this, because Jupiter's not far away, she may fall in love with wounded husbands, like her husbands are wounded people. Haven't seen Andrew Parker Bowles' chart. I'm wondering now. I'm going to take a look at that later. But yeah, she might fall in love with wounded men, or men that become wounded in that marriage. So the fact that they both have planets sitting on each other's Chiron, so to speak, it's actually like they mutually heal each other. I think that with Charles's Mercury on her Chiron, I think that he made a really wonderful confidant to her, and vice versa, obviously, but really talked her through a lot of her pain and her fears around intimacy, or her whatever marriage woes she had. I'm sure she spilled to him, and yeah, he just felt seen. He just felt like he was important in her presence. This Venus falling into her 4th house, as you can see, she doesn't have any Libra placements that make this easy. I think he anchors her into her 4th house, even if this love was forbidden. I mean, you know how I call Mars and Neptune together as like the hooker Mars, right? I call it the hooker Mars. If I see a Mars in Pisces or Neptune with a Mars, I'm like, that's a hooker Mars. He got a hooker heart. Like, he's got that Mars and Venus conjunction. He's someone that can love forever, especially with a Libra Venus. If someone's unavailable, Virgo and Libra placements, they're the signs of disgust. Like, bleh. Like if someone is always out of reach, which Camilla always was. She was always out of reach because he could never be public with her. That made it made the heart grow fonder. It's that longing, that limerence. The dude's addicted to limerence. Anyway, his Venus does sit on her IC. She also has Neptune here. There's a lot of betrayal in the home. I wonder if her daddy cheated on her mommy as well. Like if her parents weren't really together for love. There were a lot of examples set for her where marriages were just out of like they were business deals. They weren't really like connections. There's a lot of rule breaking. There's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of lies when it comes to her fourth house. I need to look this up because it doesn't look healthy. Again, Neptune on the fourth, the house is flooded. Maybe not literally, but there's like this homelessness here. Both of them are kind of homeless, spiritually homeless. Maybe like sometimes with regular schmegular people, it's like literally homeless, right? Like I did Chapel Roan's chart. Like it's like it could be a little bit more literal than that. But anyway, this is more like a spiritual homelessness, homelessness in terms of intimacy. And here, because his Venus is here and like the rest of his placements fall into this fourth house and the fifth house, which is a fun house, right? They're having lots of picnics together. They're having lots of getaways and holidays together and nobody knows about it. And it's just they got a lot of time for each other. They stabilize each other, even if it's in the dark, even if it's in secret, even if it's forbidden. It's comfort. It's comforting, They're of great comfort to each other. An inconvenient marriage. Camilla's Sagittarius, Juno and Charles's Jupiter conjunction. So even in the chart, they're married. Like Jupiter and Juno are married. Now I said Jupiter represents the husband or the marriage. Juno also represents marriage. It's the asteroid, that's the contract. So in this chart, they're together, which is quite interesting. He has his Mars, which is his phallus, right? So Mars is the phallus, it's the sexuality. He's got Mars in Sagittarius, so he seems like he's a bit of an outdoorsman, isn't he? Makes a lot. It's quite athletic. He's got it with Jupiter. I think he's just very impulsive when it comes to sex, and he's allowed to be. He gets away with it. Obviously, he's got like a solid, like he's got protection. He's also very experimental. And because he's got Mars and Jupiter and her Juno together, sex was one of the biggest reasons why he was so stuck on her. It's not just because they've got that 12th house synastry, but truly, like, it's almost like I know Mars is the phallus, but it's also like a pen that signs the contract. Juno's the contract. Mars is the pen. But it's inconvenient. Hers is retrograde, so she has like a marriage that doesn't work out. Disappointing, like a disappointing marriage or a void contract or something. Destined to be queen. Ugh, this is the one that hurts people. Camilla's 11th house, Gemini North Node, Mars, Uranus, and Vesta are in conjunction with Charles's Pallas, Athena, and Uranus. So, guys, her North Node is in a public house in the 11th house. Of what? Yeah, publicity. The people. Like, she's going to be, with this Mars, and Uranus, certainly, she's going to have problems with her reputation. Even if she does nothing wrong, like people are, I don't like her. Mars is a malefic. To have Mars in the 11th house and also in a social sign, makes her very socially dynamic. I think in the context of the royal court was quite popular, but in terms of the big wide world, not so much. It looks very hectic for her. But she's got to learn how to deal with it. She's got to get this show on the road. And North Node with Mars is also someone that has to learn how to be an individual, has to learn how to be unique, how to be seen. And certainly being in the 11th house, she has to be okay. She has to be okay with having things thrown at her. She has to learn to be okay with being sneered at. And she's got to stand there tall and proud and remember she got the crown on her head. But she was always meant to be a public figure. So Yeah. And then Charles's North Node, you know what's really interesting? When he was crowned king, literally, he was crowned king on his nodal return. Like pretty much exactly. I think it was exactly, because I remember covering it on my Instagram and my TikTok. Literally crowned on his nodal return. And the North Node represents destiny. The moon is the mother, following in the line of the mother. This is in Taurus, which is the Empress, right? It's a royal energy. What was his mother? A Taurus. It's really wild, the synastry that he has with his mother. I should do King Charles and Queen Elizabeth's synastry. It's insane. The moon represents the mother. His moon is in Taurus. His mother was a Taurus, and I think it's a 0-degree moon as a 0-degree moon as well, or is it? Yeah, it's something. It's like to the exact degree of his mother's son. It's really wild, but his destiny was to literally fall to follow in the line of the mother. The North Node conjunct the moon. Almost every single member of the royal family has a North Node with the moon. Almost every single one, except for one. And I'll talk about that one day because he's still a child. But yeah, and she's got her series on there. It's nurturing. You know, I think being with Camilla is making the job easier for sure, because she's so nurturing. Literally, that's what that asteroid is there for. Destined to be king, Charles's 10th, 11th house, Taurus, North Node, Charlotte, North Node, and Moon conjunct Camilla's series. I just discussed this, but there's also this midheaven conjunction. So they're both emperor. I think that I know that he is the king, but I also feel like she is going to have a hand in they're going to rule together. I was also told that she's not officially a queen consort. She's just the queen. Someone had to correct me and they were right, because I was like, no, she's not the queen. She's the queen consort, but she doesn't even have that title apparently. She's just the queen. Wild. Never heard that. He really wanted to make sure that she was his equal, which is, you know, a very virtuous thing to do. He has his series in the same sign as his midheaven, which is like married to the job. So interesting. And then finally we have their whole synastry, just having a look at what's missing here from their synastry. So here's the thing with Charles and Camilla. You see that? That's a descendant in Aquarius. They're ideal partners. If they wanted to not be so controversial, they should have been with or stayed with Aquarius heavy people. Princess Diana was an Aquarius moon. I think she had an Aquarius Jupiter, and she evened out Charles's chart. She had a Libra midheaven. So, you know, when you see couples get together, like power couples, if you look at William and Kate, they have opposite midheavens. That she has a Taurus midheaven, he has a Scorpio midheaven. It looks good together. You know, opposing midheaven power couples, they look better together because you got the masculine and the feminine. They're like opposite sides of the same coin. It's also, you know, even Queen Elizabeth and Philip, like they had Scorpio and Taurus midheaven. Diana and Charles. Diana had the Libra midheaven. Charles had the Aries midheaven. They looked good together. So the world doesn't like Camilla because she is his mirror. She's just like him. That's the reason why he loves her, is because she's his twin. And that's why, you know, but that's why the rest of the world loves Diana, is because she was different than him. Like she made him look more balanced. I don't want to go as far as to say that she made him look good, but she made the institution popular. And yeah, her Aquarius placements, he was in love with her. He was attracted to her. I just don't think that he was enthralled with her sexually. I don't think they had a lot in common. Like, Camilla and Charles do have a lot in common. I know their Venuses square off with each other. That's another reason why they didn't get together until much later on in life. Like, when you have squared off Venuses, there's a misalignment of values, right? Her Venus is in Cancer and it's in the 12th house, and she's like, listen, I like my marriage. I like I've chased this man down, this Andrew Parker Bowles. I'm not going to bolt and leave him for you because it's looked down upon. I can't do that. Let's just keep this under wraps. And, you know, him being a Libra Venus with Neptune, like, he probably really enjoyed that, but he also really worked hard to try and, like, keep her and potentially marry her. I think that push and that pull ultimately is the reason why they lasted so long. It was the thrill of not being able to be together. It's so toxic, but it worked. And now they're together, and everybody, you know, most people hate them together, but maybe that's the thing that keeps them alive. Like, it's just you and me against the world, baby. You know, I'll be your tampon. If you would like me to do Diana and Charles, please put in the comments below. But yeah, hopefully I've done justice to them. I mean, I get it. They are made for each other. They are each other's equal, or at least they see each other as each other's equals. Whereas with Diana, he kind of looked down upon her because she wasn't an intellectual. I think she was very intelligent in, like, an emotional, social way, but she wasn't an intellectual. Like, she didn't read books and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, she wasn't like that. She was real. She was like the every woman, you know? And these two aren't like that. They're, like, proper aristocrats. So, like, no, not even aristocrats. They're, like, royalty. So, yeah. Diana, there was something regular schmegular about her that made her ultra special. You know, that's why she's called the People's Princess or Queen of Hearts. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this made sense. I hope it made you understand these two people a little bit more and why they fell in love and why they belong together, because they do. They do belong together, whether you like it or not. You know, until death do them part. They can't leave each other. They're not going to get a divorce. They can't do that. Anyway, guys, yeah, please support me below. You can order a reading, an MP3, or you can join my members, which I will be filming more videos for. And yeah, it's a good way to support me. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you soon in Tokyo.